It was. Of character. All right, guys, we are live here at the Live Well here at Fish North, Georgia. Appreciate you guys joining us this Tuesday night. Got a great show in store for you. We're going to be talking spinnerbait fishing, whatever else you guys want to talk about. Basically, we're going to try to figure out how to catch some big pre-spawn and spawn bass tonight. So ought to be a good show. A couple of you guys are already showing up in the comment section. I'll get to you in a second. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Click that notification bell. Give us thumbs up. All the stuff the cool people like Alex do.
They're all watching on YouTube. Dan.
They're all watching on YouTube. Oh, shit, that's right. We ain't on Facebook no more. Ain't that right? Well, anyway, subscribe and click the buttons. All right, yeah, see you guys. I'll talk to you in a second. Let's go ahead and take care of our business tonight. Our fine sponsor, Sonar Pros. Guys, if you want to get your sonar installed the right way, buy the best, Sonar Pros, the official sonar installer of the Live Well, 770-530-4505 off Highway 369. Trenton Games will do you right. That's where the pros take their boats, so you might as well do it yourself. And, of course, we got Mr. Megalodon himself, Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing, 678-459-8419. Check out his Patreon that we talk about each and every episode, patreon.com/lipsticker fishing, so that you can learn with him live on the water. And of course, we got the best rod sleeves on the market. That is Evolve Fishing. They float, got all the little safety features, and the best thing about it is your hooks do not get stuck in them when you're chunking them in your rod locker right there. So get them here at Fish North, Georgia. Check out evolvefishing.com. And then Richard Key and the Money Saver Lure Retriever. For all the money we spend on these high-priced baits, boy, I priced some of them today that were expensive as all get-go. You want to have the best plug knocker on the market to get them out when you get hung in all the nastiness down there. That's the Money Saver Lure Retriever, and we got them here at Fish North, Georgia. And then if you're on Lake Allatoona, you want to fish with a legend, Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305, specializing in Lake Allatoona, also does seasonal smallmouth trips, and he does sonar trips. So if you need to get your sonar figured out, adjusted the proper way, Mr. Bill Payne's the guide for you, 706-280-2305. And then our buddy on Lake Lanier, Mr. Brooks Anderson Fishing. And you mentioned it, Clint, just before. You know, he was showing you some pictures of those wolf packing spots on Lanier right now. So was I supposed to tell anybody that?
Away his juice
Don't give away his juice. Now, listen, if you want to know what the spots are doing, where they are, how to catch them, Brooks Anderson's a guy for you. And especially he likes to cater to the high school and the younger angler that's just getting their career started. Check him out, brooksandersonfishing.com, and check him out on YouTube as well. And then we got our buddies, Fishers of Hope. Their mission is to glorify God, be servants of his word, to bring those in need the peace and hope that only he can bring. Tony and his wife were down here at the shop the other day, and our guest tonight, Ryan, was kind enough to give them a set of scales. And so to get them up and going, we mentioned that probably about a month and a half ago, and Ryan stepped up. Guys, they've got a current tournament. Look at them on Facebook, a current need. A young lady, I believe, with cancer that they're trying to help. So check them out, Fishers of Hope Ministry at gmail.com and on Facebook. And then behind me, of course, we got our buddies, Turner Tires, 706-253-3339 in Jasper, Georgia. Tires and alignment, great people. Brock and his cousin fished this weekend. I think they did really good in that ABA team tournament. I think. Was that the right
Yeah,
one? They won it.
Yeah.
The man knows how to fish, and they also know how to do tires. So check them out. That's where I get my tires. Now, we talked about it last week. Let's pull up our thing right there from Cherry Street. Now, listen, Fishing Industry Night, March 20th. That's a Thursday night. We will not have a show that night. It's at Cherry Street Brewing, and that's at the Halcyon, I believe, if I said that right. Anyway, listen, what we're going to be doing the following Tuesday, the episode of the Real American Road Trip that we did at Cherry Street is going to be doing, but we're going to give a special sneak peek, an early thing. Also, too, Digital Sportsman is going to be there. Now, listen, if you are a guide, and I'm going to be reaching out and talking to a bunch of you, if you are a guide, you need to come to this, and you need to listen to what Digital Sportsman is putting together with their booking app. I'm telling you, it's going to make your business a whole lot easier, very seamless, and the best thing about it is they've got levels that will not cost you a thing. So you want to check them out. I think Eric from Digital Sportsman is going to be there. We'll be there. Great company. You want to be a part of that. I'm telling you, if you're a guide, you want to come. Plus, open bar, 5:30 to 8:30. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a slosh event, kind of like at ICAST. Remember that one?
Yep.
Yeah, not one of those. But come have a couple of brews with us, network amongst each other, watch a little bit of that show, and talk to Digital Sportsman and all of us. It's just going to be a good night of fellowship and fun. And that is March 20th. That's a Thursday night. We want to see you guys there. So anyway, of course, I got the regular Tuesday night crew in here. I got Clint beside me to my right.
How's it going?
And all his beauty right
good to
there.
be
Got
back.
Alex back there in the background, the Wolfman. The Wolfman's here. And, of course, you guys know this face right beside me. The big ugly's in the house tonight there. So Mr. Ryan Sheffield is in the house. How are you doing, big dog?
I'm well.
Just well?
I can't complain.
You can't complain?
No.
You know
no
me.
reason to complain. Nobody gonna listen to
I would not. You ought to know that right there. So, all right, let's check out the comment section real quick before we get
Dang.
going. You guys are there. Yeah, a bunch of you. So I'll just say hello, everyone, because everybody's in there. Who's excited for this front this weekend? Nobody.
No.
Nobody's excited. And but a lot of you guys. Rob Robleski. Hey, Rob, you had a hell of a tournament up there. Got you a check and all that. So we were pulling for you. Had a good showing on Santee with the NPFL. And for the NPFL faithful and followers out there, good job to the National Professional Fishing League. They had a great first tournament. A lot of excitement since there's no forward-facing sonar. Guys were fishing old school and everything. So really awesome to watch. Oh, Jason Christie kind of got in there, and he dominated with I don't say dominated. There were some hellacious sacks, but spinnerbait, which is kind of what we were going to talk about tonight, springtime spinnerbait fishing. Did you watch any of that?
I got to watch a little bit of day one when I was in the office, but I was out for the weekend. But it was definitely cool to watch. I think their coverage is definitely looking a lot better. They've got a couple hiccups, but that's going to happen. And Santee has the worst service possible for their whole tournament schedule, so I think it will clear up a lot. So I'm excited. I'm excited for them. I think they're doing good stuff, and glad to see Chris to get the win. And Rob had a great couple bags too.
He did. It was cool to see.
Cool.
And what was interesting, we had Rob and Harkins and Keon Thursday night, and Rob kind of over in the little corner had that little kind of quiet confidence going in there. And I think he had something figured out. So it was cool. Now, let's see, Hills Homestead didn't realize y'all were in Georgia. Let's go. We don't tell nobody. We might owe you money or something like that. So we're incognito right there. But yeah, so always love listening to Jonathan and Ryan, Eddie Hudson. Well, I tell you what, I got a treat for you. So tonight we got Ryan. Thursday night Farmers coming back on. So I got the two big guys that's going to be on this week. So should be fun. T-Toms, love catching these live streams. Hope everyone is doing well and catching some of this great weather. Well, up until this weekend, because it is going to go to crap if that front comes through like everybody's talking about. But let's jump in. Guys, listen, if you got questions for Ryan, we're going to start off with spinnerbaits. But if you want to talk about any other spring tactic, technique, whatever, you know how we roll here. The comments drive the show. We have the best intentions of starting with something, but who knows where we will end up. So you guys throw it out there. So, Ryan,
brought the box.
You brought the box. So you go ahead and get the box out if you want to, or is it how you want to do? We want to lead them into the box a little bit.
I don't care. However you want to do it.
Just crack a tab on that box.
Crack a tab on that box. So I tell you what. So I've known Ryan for a while, and I know he loves throwing a spinnerbait. I know how he throws it. I know, well, not everything about how he throws it, but I know kind of the techniques he likes to do, where he likes to throw it. So we'll start off with that. Let's just throw you a softball right now. Softball, nice and easy. Tell me a little bit about the spinnerbait bite going on right now on Lake Lanier and the surrounding lakes.
Well, been catching fish on spinnerbait since the second weekend in February.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't really stopped for me, except for Sunday. I actually didn't get a bite on it, but I caught them a different way, which was fine, because that's spring fishing in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone kind of agree that sometimes it's day to day, week to week. Sometimes the locations stay the same. It's my philosophy always in springtime fishing, pre-spawn fishing, is I want to be fishing where the fish are coming to. I don't necessarily, want to be sitting down on one spot, and that's exactly where I want to be, because they could be there today, they could be gone tomorrow.
Right.
So you just never know, especially with the moon phases coming on, and then the moon phase is a big deal. Always with the spawn. I think everyone probably agrees with that in terms of the moon phase. And then water temperature is probably the second most affected thing that affects is the fish that pull up in less than, basically 5 feet of water.
Right.
And that's where they stay for several weeks. The females are there for one reason and one reason alone. They're there to basically take care of those eggs that are starting to develop. If they haven't already started to develop them already, we caught some fish in January, that already had eggs starting to develop pretty good. You could see on their egg sac was already developing.
Right.
So those fish are, by now, those fish is second week in March or something like that, third week in March. So, those fish are probably already all along. You'd be surprised, how early a lot of fish will try to go to bed.
Yeah.
A lot of people put the 60-degree mark on it, but that's not really the case, because there's a lot that try to do it quicker.
Yeah.
Especially, and those of you guys, I guess, who've listened to me over the years, especially on blueback herring lakes,
mm-hmm.
because the bluebacks, they affect everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've always said, once fish get a taste of blueback herring, they just they just totally forget everything else. They do not act like traditional, green fish, I guess is the best way to say it. I know I told you a couple of years ago, one time we had a tournament, we were catching fish and we were laying them up on the deck on some bills on herring spawn. And those spots were literally, for lack of a better term, shitting eggs.
Yeah.
And it was like, why are you up here on this blow through feasting on herring when you're like busting? And
they like it,
and it's like, I don't know if it was the case or not, but the way that those fish were doing it, I was like, well, that fish probably didn't spawn. That fish would rather eat bluebacks than spawn.
You think so?
It makes sense.
When you lay them on the deck of the boat and their eggs are all going all over your carpet, that's over.
Getting a quick meal before you spew,
Before you spew, that's what I do.
That's a good analogy right there.
and then afterwards too.
Yeah.
It's like it don't stop.
But in all though, like this time of year, it's like, there's like, I basically, for spinnerbait fish, it's like, I basically focus on two things, two types of structure. All these North Georgia lakes, especially, they all have them in some capacity, and that's docks and wood.
Yeah.
Like laydowns, blowdowns, whatever you want to call them, wood structure going into the water off the bank.
We like blowdown.
Blowdowns.
We like the blowdown.
I call them blowdowns, but that's pretty much it. It's docks and wood cover. Why docks and wood cover? Because docks with the black floats and metal poles, and then wood, those two things warm up,
mm-hmm.
and they hold heat better than the rock does this time of year.
Yeah.
The rock gets warm, don't get me wrong, but we're not at that point yet this year, like where the rock will hold the heat. We got to have temperatures in the evenings at night when it's dark, where the air temperatures stay in the upper 50s.
Yeah, we don't have that yet.
And we don't have that yet. So that's when that nighttime rock bite. That's when You know, a lot of the striper fishermen and some of us crazies who like to get out there like April and stuff at night on a weeknight and go throw black spinnerbaits and stuff early
before everybody else is
and
out
around
there
rocks, rocky points and stuff like that, reef poles,
Yeah.
you know, big boulders. That's when that bite really that's when that becomes the main kind of structure to really focus on. But for right now it's docks and wood.
Okay. Scroll up. He just passed through my buddy Jonah. He's got 2, but that first one right there at the top. There you go. Now I like Jonah. He's a young kid. I think you might have met him back in the day, but when and where is the ideal situation to fish a spinnerbait? For some reason, I have a preconceived, and he probably meant to say notion and all that. Is it a year-round bite, or is it better at certain times?
There's the rest of it.
Huh? Oh, there's the rest of it?
Oh, winter. Okay.
That you need clouds and heavy wind for it to work. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, this time of year, clouds and cloud cover is like, I'm like, oh, man, like, go away.
You want the flash.
I want sun. You know, I want sun. I want to target the sunny sides of docks and shade lines around docks and stuff with spinnerbaits. Probably the most critical thing to know, like if you want to get like better at spinnerbait fishing this time of the year, is accuracy. Accuracy is probably, it doesn't really matter how you work the spinnerbait, how you retrieve the spinnerbait. It's more accuracy, because out of all the fish I've caught this time of year through here at the end of March, like was pre-spawn largemouth, like if they're there, they get it quick. You know, it isn't this like, oh, let me work it just right down the side of the dock. No, if they're there, they'll come out and get it. But you have to get it close enough. You have to find the fine line between too far and well, there really isn't too close.
Yeah.
If you get too close, then you hang your spinnerbait up, you know, on the dock.
But you like it close.
My intention of throwing beside docks, this is always every cast, this is my mentality. I want to basically clip the blades on the float.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close I want to get it. Because you'll make a little roll cast down the side of the dock, all the way to the back of the dock, where the back of the dock starts. And if you'll clip the blades or clip a pole, like if it's got a set pole dock, you know, if they're there, it doesn't take but about 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah.
You know? Now you'll have some that be out on the end of a dock, and those are like kind of special scenarios. A lot of my memory of those kind of fish that hit on the end of docks, like at the very end, well, typically there's like a brush pile out there in front of the dock. So like there's a reason they're wanting to hang out towards the end of the dock more so than being out back up close. But they're up there to get warm, and they're up there to feed. They're up there to eat. And I truly, truly, truly believe this 100%. And it may be wrong, and that's fine if it is.
But you believe it.
I truly believe that this time of year feeding periods are probably some of the most important. That feeding period, if you want to get, so we'll talk about, I guess, the past like 4 weeks for me. So all my bigger bites, some of you guys that follow me on Facebook have seen I've had a couple big bites that I've took pictures of. I'm reluctant to take pictures of fish because, you know, I make a 5-pounder look like a 3-pounder.
That is true.
You know?
Yeah, he does.
So,
the guy is 6'7", so he's holding one up that looks like a 5-pounder. It's closer to 8.
Well, I mean, it's like the 6-pounder is my profile picture now. It's 6 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was every bit. I mean, my Bubba said 608, so it was actually a little bit bigger than 608.
But it doesn't look like that
closer
against
to
you.
6 1/4, but it doesn't. It looks like I'm holding like a 4.5-pounder.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but
we know the truth.
But you know, and that's why I'm always reluctant to take fish pictures.
Scales don't lie.
Well, it is him and guys like Farmer and all that. They hold Stephen Bardet, good example. They hold up a tank.
Well, Stephen Bardet makes that 11.5-pounder look like a 9.
Yeah, it didn't look like an 11.
It doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't.
But it
look
is
like an 11.
But it is.
But
it is. Hey, look at James F. Great to see Ryan back. Been wondering how he's doing. He's doing fantastic.
I'm working.
He's working. He's working.
But I see what Brett said. I haven't alluded to that yet. Really, what makes me go, let's go throw a spinnerbait, is when the length of days start going. When I see finally, like, and it's always about the 1st of February sometime. When I see finally where it says the sunlight today is going to be 10.5 hours, I know, okay, the days officially from that point, about 10 and a half hours, somewhere in that realm. I know every single day to day, a couple minutes are going to be added.
Yep.
Every single day.
That's right.
And the fish know, they know as the days get longer, that coincides. Like I was talking about water temperature. Sometimes it's the hell with water temperature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes they go up there anyway. I mean, probably the coldest, probably the biggest fish I've caught in the coldest water in this time of year was in February. And that pocket was 46 degrees. Now, a lot of people go 46 degrees and they immediately go, let's go to the ditches.
Yeah.
Or, let's go out there to the timber line,
right.
or something like that, and go scope around, or go drag something on the bottom deep in 40, 50 foot of water.
Right.
And because, that day was a sunny day. It was pure sun. That fish was in the biggest blowdown in that pocket, and, it was 7.5 pounds.
Right.
But she was up there for one reason and one reason only. And and the water temperature didn't care, but she was up there in like 4 foot of water.
Yeah.
She knows what's coming, and they react to it. And that's really what they do. So like I said earlier, that's why I fish for where the fish are going to this time of year more so than worry about where the fish are going to be at. Say if
you're
they're
trying, yeah.
Say they're sitting on point. I know those fish are on point, but like this time of year on a spinnerbait, crankbait, chatterbait, whatever it is, when we're talking spinnerbaits tonight, so we'll just stay with spinnerbaits for the moment. This is the time of the year. If you go stick to it, glue it to your hand and throw it. This is the time of the year to, we'll just take Lanier, for example. I know a bunch of people who's like PB largemouth on Lanier's like on that 5-something pounds. You want to bust it? This is the time of the year to do it.
Right.
More so than any other time.
What are you raising your hand for?
Because that's me.
That's your PB?
That's
so,
me. 5
well,
pounds,
throw a damn
10
spinnerbait. He's telling you what to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous of all you guys who have 6-pound spots. I've never caught a 6-pound spot. I've caught over 20 spots well over 5 pounds. The biggest spot I've ever caught was 596.
Can't break 6.
And we weighed it twice on the tournament scale,
Mm-hmm.
hoping that thing would say 6, and it did not. It would not say 6.
Got to stuff it with a leg.
So I've never caught it. Clint probably has. Clint's probably caught several 6-pounders.
No, I haven't. No, I've caught a 576 on Pickwick in college, and I haven't.
Cranking, yanking. Damn, that boy like to talk. Hey, listen, if you don't know Ryan, we get him going. He's gonna go, baby.
Son, he's fired up.
He's gonna go with spinnerbaits and stuff.
I have no filter for anything really.
Well, I think he's kind of a new one, so he doesn't know you from the time past. Really Ryan used to help host the show and everything back in the day. Guy B wants to know what color spinnerbaits are you throwing?
Well, I'll
pull it out like that. Yeah.
I'll pull out the box.
So
I brought the box.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, back in the day, Ryan worked here, and he was always on the show, either running the board or hosting. Sometimes when I was out, he would host. There's a couple of things he gets really excited about, and he likes to talk about them. And spinnerbait being one of them.
All right, so this is like
jangling blade.
This is like primo number one. This is number one for me. This is number one. It's just a chartreuse and white. It's a 1/2 ounce war eagle. I don't throw a 3/8 this time of year. The reason why I throw a half is because in the muddier stained water and stuff, that I've found that more times than not, if I can keep these blades where I can just barely see them, I will get more bites than if I can see the spinnerbait the entire time. And it is just a slow roll. You're essentially slow rolling the spinnerbait. You're just slow rolling it to the speed to where you can barely see that gold blade on top, barely flashing. If you keep it in that zone, that is like, especially when you're fishing basically 5 foot or less, you're in 2 foot of water. And that is like if they're laying on the bottom, they'll come up and get it. If they're suspended, they'll come grab it from the side, and they'll take off with it. You'll physically see that bite happen. For those of you guys who've caught a lot of spots, like on spinnerbaits and stuff, especially spots in the in the summer, post April, basically, they'll jerk the rod out of your hand. They will absolutely crush a spinnerbait.
Right.
This bite, unless you're really in tune with what's going on and you're paying attention to every single cast, sometimes you won't even feel the bite.
It's like the blades just stop almost.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
kind of lose
exactly
weight
what it
a little
is.
bit.
Clint's exactly right. It's like you just lose it, and you're just like, if you lose it, set the hook.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's like but as largemouth, they'll come like it's amazing. Like the handful that I've seen actually come and get it in a little bit clearer water. It's amazing how fast they'll grab it, and there's nothing to it. You'll think they're jerking the rod out of your hand.
But it just goes.
But a lot of times what they'll do is, most of the bites, a lot of times what they'll do is that spinnerbait's going along, and when they get it as it comes, they'll come right here and they'll just come right up behind it and they'll grab it.
Yes.
And if you have like a super sensitive rod, you'll feel a slight little like that. Then set the hook. So
speaking of which, what rod you throw yours on?
Mine's it's a custom rod that I had built especially for throwing spinnerbaits for this time of year. It's a 6'10" medium heavy rod.
Ooh,
but
well, shorty, I like it.
I think that's because his arms are like 18 foot long, and so the way he whips it.
Well, also too, it's like a lot of people don't realize, people who haven't had a lot of bites doing this or haven't had a lot of success doing this, and my goal tonight is maybe give you confidence to go out and go do this here over the next couple of weeks. You don't realize how important a shorter rod is, especially when you get into some heavy cover combat, and close quarters combat. Because sometimes they'll grab that spinnerbait. Your cast will be 15 feet from the boat, and they'll get that thing 10 foot from you. Well, if you have too long of a rod, you'll never really get a hook in those fish good. But if you have a short rod and you make a hard snap hook set with a little bit shorter rod, you'll get a hook in those fish. And so like I see the questions.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Nate. Yeah. So
like so trailer wise, I mean, you just throw whatever you really want to. I'm pretty hard headed. I only throw one.
He is.
It's on this one, but I brought a spare just so I can show it.
See, you can tell you've been on the show before. You knew what props to bring.
So this is what I throw. I do not throw anything else when I throw it on back of a spinnerbait. Especially on the chartreuse and white ones, or the other one that I'll show out here in a minute. That's the real.
That's a Strike King.
That's the real secret one. No, this is a Bass Pro Shops Cajun trailer.
That's right, Bass Pro.
That's exactly what it is. There's 16 of them in the pack. You catch a bunch of them. This goes on my buzz baits. This goes on my spinner baits. That's right. That's pretty much like all Cajun I pretty much throw on the back of it. But they're cheap. They're like $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
I buy 2 packs every spring. Like end of January, 1st February, I go online and order 2 packs.
Yeah,
and they come in the mail. So that's pretty much what it is. It looks super good with the chartreuse. It kind of has this. You can't really tell. Which camera am I looking at? This one right here. This one.
Look at
like this one.
One of them over there.
Here, show that thing over there closer.
Well, we used to have cameras that zoom in, but hell, we quit. We stole things.
Hang on, put it on Ryan's camera.
Oh, yeah,
it ain't gonna focus though.
Well, it's a War Eagle.
But it's a War Eagle, chartreuse and white.
If I hold it, I get it back just perfect enough.
Yeah, there you go. So it's chartreuse and white War Eagle, and I put that's a 3/0 trailer hook. I do not ever throw a spinnerbait without a trailer hook.
Yep, 100%.
Really?
I knew that.
I never don't. I can't tell you how many fish I would never have gotten the boat.
He's the reason I throw a trailer hook on that.
If it had not been a trailer hook.
Yeah,
I've never thrown one on a spinnerbait.
If I go to chicken,
you haven't. No, dude, this guy's like adamant. Like, why are you throwing it without one?
This has literally been the difference. A trailer hook is literally, if you tournament fish, a trailer hook has literally been the difference between cutting a check and not cutting a check for me.
I'm sure. Yeah, 100%.
It has literally.
So have you had them just bite it and not get it, or what's the? Or you don't know because you've always thrown a trailer hook.
I've always okay. Yeah. So it's like so when I first got started like really into bass fishing, Kevin Van Dam was the man for me, and he always will be the man for me because he's a power fisherman. I'm a power fisherman.
I know how much.
I don't want to really slow down unless I absolutely really have to.
Oh, you're not lying there.
One of the first videos I ever watched was Kevin Van Dam throwing a spinnerbait, and he was talking about how he never throws a spinnerbait without a trailer hook, even in grass. Because and then literally, you can call it TV show theatrics, whatever you want to call it, but he literally catches one on that YouTube video that I was watching, and it was like a 2.5 pounder, and that thing literally only had a trailer hook.
Yep.
He would have never caught that fish if it hadn't had just a trailer hook. That was all it had. And I just won't throw one. I don't even feel good if I don't even feel right because I always feel like if I
feel naked,
I ain't throwing one on a trailer hook and Big Bertha's gonna bite.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna miss out on it.
Yeah.
So I mean it's that's just me. I'll probably never deviate from it. But and another thing too is like I don't throw spinnerbaits. Like I like the War Eagles pretty good. The older War Eagles are really good, but they're better. The new ones, and you don't have a sponsorship with War Eagles, so I guess I can say
you
this.
say whatever you want.
The new War Eagles. So like if you're going to throw a War Eagle spinnerbait, I would suggest not buying one or two. Because if you get on a good spinnerbait bite, what will actually happen to a War Eagle, especially if you catch some bigger fish, what will actually happen is right here where the arm goes into the where it connects to the hook and the lead head is poured around. As you keep catching fish, the lead is actually really soft for some reason on these War Eagles, and the arm will actually like bend back and forth. Yep. I have actually broke a fish off before and been like, "Damn, I lost that fish. It broke me off," and start reeling it back in. And I feel something funny on the end of it, and I reel it in, and from the knot up, the arm is literally that's all that's left.
I've had that happen twice on a War Eagle.
But he loves them. And the action is great.
It's hard. It's a love-hate relationship with the War Eagle. There really isn't another spinnerbait for this time of the year. And anybody in the comment section, I mean, there's a lot of different spinnerbaits on the market. Don't get me wrong. This 35 thousandths wire diameter is like super crucial for me. It's probably all right here for me in my brain.
That's all right.
In my head. But I feel like the 35 thousandths wire just puts out more vibration. And I feel like in the muddier stain water, I feel like they can find it better.
So that's some redneck science right there.
It is,
it is.
I like it.
So, and guys, listen, if we miss your comment or question, make sure you put it back because we got a lot of them showing up. But pull up Tim Wyatt's thing. Appreciate you joining us right there. So I won't throw it without a trailer hook, but Saturday I had a 2.5 pound lip, have the main hook in the gills and the trailer hook in the gullet. So like that fish come up, like you were saying, from behind and just
and it happens. And it does happen. It does happen where you'll catch a fish like Tim caught and you'll be like, why didn't he need a trailer hook? But still at the same time, like I will not.
No,
I refuse to throw it without one.
Well, that's what he said. He says I won't throw it without a trailer hook. So I mean, he uses it so good. And Adam W. Fishing uses them. Brian Thrift's theory of not using a trailer hook is a good one. What kind of fill us in on that, Bruce? Because I'm not so familiar with that. John G. Wilson at the top, right there. You had it, right there. Hey guys, just got here. So you don't ever put a paddle tail as a trailer on a spinnerbait?
Okay, so like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that paddle tails are not good because I know plenty of people who throw paddle tails on the back. Again, I'll use Clint's little term that he just coined that I'm probably going to steal from him now. Redneck science, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like with spinnerbait,
it's going to be a T-shirt.
I like it.
I feel like with spinnerbait, it's a little bit different than a chatterbait, but I feel like with a spinnerbait, if I have a paddle tail on the back, I feel like the paddle tail will take away from the vibration of the blades because a paddle tail will put out a different vibration in the water because it's just swinging, booting.
Well, it's metal versus plastic too.
Yeah,
you got a metal vibration versus a plastic.
Exactly,
vibration.
You're exactly right. And I personally don't put a swimming trailer, but like I've been in the boat with people, and they've had people in the boat with me that have been catching fish with like a swim Cinco or something on the back of it, which is a really good like chatterbait trailer. Also, I've got those over here for when we talk about other dock strategies.
I'm sure we will get to that. Look at
there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's jump on JMF right there, right above that one, right there. And again, guys, if we miss it, pop it back up. So in March, you head to the pockets and coves versus secondary points leading to them.
Depends upon kind of the daily weather conditions for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is March we're talking, March, it could be like this week is a perfect example. All of a sudden it's getting warm again. Well, Sunday it was cold. 39 degrees.
It didn't get out of 40s in Atlanta.
We put in cold. Sunday.
Yeah.
It was cold. like I said Sunday, I didn't catch a fish on a spinnerbait.
Right.
I didn't get a bite on a spinnerbait.
Right.
So if it's cold, then I'll immediately kind of think about secondary points more, and I'll see what kind of bite I'm actually getting. But for the most part, I'm going to throw the spinnerbait, and this is the time of year where I can catch 5 doing it.
Yep.
And hopefully 1 or 2 of those are over 5. For me, for the past couple of weeks, I've been lucky. I've caught one over 5 every time I've been out on a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
So
and these are primarily largemouth.
and they're largemouth. Oh God, oh man, I think Sunday I caught 3 spots, and I was like, damn, I forgot what those were like. So,
I get it.
But that's primarily been all I've been fishing for. If you fish for largemouth this time of year, you typically will catch largemouth. If you catch spots around doing this stuff, you found dummies who basically live in that pocket year round, don't know no better.
Gotcha.
And they're typically about that big.
Yeah.
And all they do is just annoy you.
Yeah.
Because it's like last Saturday, I caught a spot. It was the only spot I caught all day, and it was back there in 2 foot of water
where it shouldn't be.
A stump.
Yeah.
And I seen it come get it, and I was like, peckerhead. And you just crank his ass to the boat. And then lifted him up and throw him back. And I was like, go tell your mom what I just did to you.
Yeah.
So I want to see her. But,
that's right. Look at Jim Wright's question, the very next one. Oh, actually, Richie Rock and Roll right about how are you having a spinnerbait episode without Hancock? Well, Tim kind of comes and goes out in the social media. I ain't talked to him in a while.
I go ahead and tell you right now, when it comes to spinnerbaits like Tim Hancock throws, I don't touch those.
Yeah, because they're 1.5 ounce, and he's with a blade about yay big and all that.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a little different.
I don't really touch those kind of spinnerbaits.
What blades and colors do you like when you're throwing a spinnerbait?
So so anytime I have 3. So if I have less than about a foot roughly of visibility, right in there where you can see down about a foot to 14 inches maybe or so, but it's stained, muddy kind of water. Number one go-to is this one right here, has a gold willow leaf on top and has a silver willow leaf on the bottom. And the other thing too is I like the spinnerbaits with slightly bigger blades. War Eagle, all their blades other than the Screaming Eagle series or the Finesse series that they make, they all have a little bit bigger blades than what they would be. So this one is this is a 4.5, and then it has a 4. I think it's it's a 4.5 and a 4 is what those size blades are, and that's what. But the bigger the blades, the slower you can roll them. And if you go down the bank or you go throw around docks and you throw a spinnerbait like it's June, they're not going to eat it. They're not going to see this thing go, whoa, going by them. They're not really going to be interested in it. Right. It's all about keeping it in the strike zone for as long as possible. And if you keep it in the strike zone for as long as possible, your odds multiply by 10-fold on whether or not you can trick that fish into actually biting.
Yeah.
So
when would you go with the silver nickel on top?
So the silver nickel, which is this one, and this is this is a clear. The guys who know me really good, they know about this spinnerbait. This is a clearer water one where I can see 2 foot or more, and I will throw the one with a silver on the top and a gold on the bottom. It's still a 1/2 ounce, but I actually get away from the chartreuse and white, and I'll actually throw this purple one.
Mm-hmm. I tie myself purple ones now because of you. I really do.
So and you'll see it's still got the same thing. I have a trailer hook sitting in here, but I don't have a trailer hook.
That is not a color that War Eagle offers.
No, this is my own hand tied one that what I'll do is I'll just go buy a solid white one that has this blade combination, and I'll rip the skirt off and I'll put this one on.
Yeah, I know I do too.
And that is literally it.
I got a bunch of them.
The only other one that I will throw, and this is in some serious muddy water. This is you throw the spinnerbait up there and it disappears within 4 inches, and that is one But this is actually a True South Custom Lures one, and it's got tandem gold Colorados on it, and I just want that one for a little bit more thump, but it's still chartreuse and white. I don't really get into, some people like coleslaw. Coleslaw's great.
That was my next question.
I don't really get into coleslaw too much.
Yeah.
I've never personally, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I've never personally seen where coleslaw makes a difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
But any of you guys watching, maybe coleslaw will make a difference for you.
It's all about confidence,
It's all
baby.
about confidence. To me, it goes to, and you'll hear me say this again, probably a couple more times than that. To me, it is accuracy. How close can you get it to the piece of cover? Because they want to eat a big meal. A spinnerbait is a big meal, but they don't want to work that hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't June.
Right.
Or they'll come 6, 7 foot down the bank. All of a sudden, you'll be like, all you'll see is a dark flash. And like, whoa, what the hell was that? They're going to bite. They have like a 1.5 to 2 foot strike range, and they're just kind of like, yes, or
yeah,
no,
yeah,
nah, negative. Flip that wacky under this dock. I might eat it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that.
That's what I'd be doing. Elijah Allen, appreciate you joining us tonight up there, big guy. What about the back half of a Super Fluke as a trailer?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, it doesn't really, to me, it wouldn't affect the blades for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I
You're
go
just
through so many freaking flukes though in the summertime. It's like hard for me to go snip and slide flukes on because eventually at Hammond's it's like, dang,
it's a war zone to get them.
It's like, do I really want to do that or do I not want to do that? I would rather be on the water in like May or June or something like that.
Last summer I was buying them in Florida. I went to a tackle shop in Florida. I was like, dang, they have all the good colors. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm in Florida. I was like, okay, cool.
Get them.
I was like,
well, he's same thing with the horny toads.
Yeah.
He buys a shit ton of the white ones.
Because they only last like one fish.
I know. I got you. WB Harrington. Redneck Science Institute.
I think you need to do a segment on Real American Road Trip where you put him in a lab coat and it's Ryan's Redneck Science, and then he goes through and does like a segment.
We could
That'd be
do
pretty
that.
cool.
Because Lord knows he's got it right there. Coleman Jones, ever thrown a spinnerbait for ledge fish?
We don't really have any really like true ledges here, unless I go to like Chickamauga or something like that. So that would be, for me, it'd be a negative.
Yeah.
You ever throw it out over the timber?
Yeah, I've messed around with that before. Like I put on like maybe like a 3/4 ounce, but it's hard for me to do it when I know a Demiki or a Nico will work just as
good. Yep.
So,
it's hard to change.
It's just me personally.
Right.
Like I told you earlier, Clint, I'm pretty hard-headed though.
Yeah, fair enough.
So like,
God knows he is. He is. You ever throw a mini-me? Now that's going to be more of your later summer stuff for spots, right? And burning it?
No, not
or fall?
No,
I would say that's like an April, May deal.
You think so?
There's a there's a super good. I do not know who it was. Maybe it was Greg Holly's boys. I'm thinking
Finn twins.
The
Finn twins.
I think they made a video like 2 years ago throwing like a mini me on Lanier, and they were throwing that thing up in the dirt. And they were somewhere on South End, obviously. But they were catching like some mega spots on that mini me, and they were throwing that thing up there, and they were burning it. But like when the spots get ready to go to bed, like they're so full of like
they're horned up.
They really
are.
They're
horned up.
That's exactly what it is. They will absolutely destroy a spinnerbait, and throwing one on like 17-pound fluorocarbon and a medium heavy rod like that for some spots. I mean, if they bite and you get a hook set in them, I mean, they're coming in the boat.
Yeah.
You ain't got to play with them and dance around the boat with them. No, they're coming in the boat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the mini-me is great. I mean, I love the mini-me. I mean, that thing stays tied on for me like basically into April, and then I don't cut it back off again until like we come back around to this time of year again.
Gotcha. King of Bass, pull that up. Ryan is a behemoth of a man. I saw him in person at the Noe show. He's almost unintelligent looking until you have a conversation with him.
Thanks.
Listen, what's
How
funny is he and I, when we're on the boat together. So like I'm here and he's way up there.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the very first episode of the Real American Road Trip. We're on our boat. I'm in my electric boat. And we're
I
over
just
there.
watched that at the office
And
yesterday.
remember you saw how it was leaning. Yeah, it was you that mentioned because you're in the back.
Yeah.
It's just a slight thing. But hey, listen, we love our big guys. I'm not going to hold it. A couple of things about bluegill colors. Do you ever throw bluegill colors on your spinnerbait? I don't. I was going to say I knew the answer before I asked it.
I mean, you got to think about shape and profile. It's not a bluegill profile. Like it really is.
No, it's different.
It's a
not to say
bait
they
fish.
won't work though. But
no.
The colors work. But at that point, it's like, are you really imitating a bluegill? Or are you? I don't know.
It's different, but I've never seen you throw a bluegill colored spinnerbait.
I don't even know one.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't even own a bluegill swim jig.
I know.
Because I only throw 2 colors swim jig.
White and white chartreuse.
Yes. I don't throw any other color swim jig.
I know them a little bit. Cranking and yanking. Pull that up. Do you realize your abbreviation is basically F and go?
Yeah, I've been saying
100% we realize that FNGO is F and go. There will be T-shirts coming out. But yes, we did realize that. It was not done on purpose, but we do like it. We 100% do like it. What's up, Drew Patterson? Silver Punk. Oh, we got different things tonight. Ryan, you ain't seen this. Look at this. Okay, so how did I get the balloons to come up right
you
there?
did that. There you
Okay,
go.
so 2 fingers up is balloons now. We learned
2
that.
fingers is balloons.
All right, 1 thumb up. I'll get the single thumb. And then 2 thumbs up. We're going to get the fireworks right here, baby. Hell, I don't know who the hell put that on there. We just figured that out. When would you choose?
Josh.
Huh?
Josh.
No, Josh didn't know nothing about it. When would you choose a chatterbait over a spinnerbait?
I'll on the North Georgia Lake. So let's not even talk about grass because like we're not talking about nickajack, chickamauga. A chatterbait's gonna be keen. I can throw it a mile. I could really I can really bang it off of pull it off the grass and stuff like that, like you always see, and you can get reaction bites when the fish that's where they pre-stages in that shallower grass on lakes like that. That's where they a lot of times pre-stage. For me, on Lanier and like Altoona, where Hartwell, and it's funny, Jason Christie won, but a couple of years ago, Jason Christie was skipping a chatterbait when he lost the classic to Jordan Lee, and the chatterbait lays on my deck. The chatterbait lays on my deck and it stays on the deck in case I can't get him to come out and get a spinnerbait.
So you can skip it up under.
So then I'll take a chatterbait, and this is really gonna blow everybody's mind. And I basically just throw a chartreuse and white chatterbait.
Where's your trailer hook?
I do not throw a trailer hook on chatterbait.
Yeah, he don't.
I do not throw a trailer hook on chatterbait. The reason why I don't is because for me, I've never personally had much luck on a lake like Lanier, where just going down a bank throwing a chatterbait and catch fish. Like I've never personally really done very good doing that. This has been good for me when I need to skip it underneath the dock.
Yeah, and you got to be able to skip.
And you got to be able to skip
He can skip it. I can't do it.
I can see Danny blowing up a reel real quick.
Blowing up the reel, hitting everything that makes some noise. You name it.
Smashing a pontoon.
He'll tell you.
He's done it. What Robert said though, Robert Blesky said though, you don't need a trailer hook for a chatterbait. I
agree.
If they bite a chatterbait for me, they got it.
Yeah.
There isn't none of this like false swipe
Especially in
stuff.
April when they're all horned up. Like that's my favorite time to throw a chatterbait on Lanier.
Yeah. And he said it right there. If they want to eat it, they will eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no like swatting at the blades or barely nipping the trailer or anything with chatterbait. If they want it, they'll eat it.
Gotcha.
But I'll throw that one. And then, yes, I will throw a fire crawl one in muddy water. So,
yep. Anthony Hampton, sounds like you're in a bucket. I don't know. Maybe it's just you.
I don't know. Maybe it's me.
I had nobody else say anything about the sound yet.
I may have backed too far away from it. I don't know.
Go back up. There was a question going up. Okay, Ryan, move closer to the mic. So I want to Tony Hall. Keep on going up. Keep on going right there.
I saw his comment.
First of all, Tony Watkins, right there above it. All right, this is the guy with Fishers of Hope. He want to publicly thank you for the scales,
Absolutely.
like I said, and he's also the guy that's going to send me that blow up doll.
Cool. I thought you said you weren't going to talk about that.
Like once we put it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank you for the blow up doll and the scales.
Oh my God.
Somebody just tuned in. I said, thank you for the blow up doll and the scales. They're like, whoa, what are we doing?
Exactly.
But Tony Hall says, I am a custom spinnerbait maker. War Eagles, Hank Parkers, and Mini-Me's are awesome. But if you have confidence, you can catch them on a 99-cent Walmart.
That's 1,000%.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's whatever you got confidence in.
And he owns Bucket Mouth Blades is the name of his company. So pretty cool. Appreciate you joining us tonight right there. Now you can scroll on down to Brad Silvers right there. Oh, up two.
But a mag draft work the same.
Yeah, would a mag jack work the same as a spinnerbait, especially when cloudy?
I like it better when it's sunny and they
You
get
like
up
a
on
mag
the-
draft better than sun? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you like it better in the sun?
I just think it positions them in higher in the wood, higher on the docks. And just like when they're cloudy, it's roaming around. Like unless you're scoping with it, like I don't know. Every big mag draft fish I've caught and has been in the top of a laydown, and when it's bright, sunny.
You said up in the water column.
Yeah, because you got to think the action and presentation of a mag draft. You've got one retrieve speed and one wobble to get it right. Like it's similar to a spinnerbait where you get that right wobble, but with a spinnerbait you can speed it up a little bit faster. You can blow it. Like it's not going to blow out like a mag draft will. So I feel like when you have the like positioning the fish where they're sitting there in the laydown or the dock and they're looking up, like, and you can present that mag draft perfectly to them. Like I would rather them have sun and be able to see it to come eat it instead of like, because a spinnerbait's putting off so much vibration. Like that's their 2 seconds and yes, versus a mag draft. They can kind of be like, what was that? That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. I'm going to eat it. Like they still, I think they stutter step it a little bit more than they would a spinnerbait.
Okay, that makes sense. That sound right to you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% agree with what he said about a mag draft. I don't have a ton of experience fishing, throwing mag drafts, or anything, or like coal shads or whatever. I can tell you this: the mag draft is far superior to the coal shad.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of the wobble and
Right.
and just it even holds up better. You know, and I get it. You know, everyone has to hit somebody, you know, in some form or fashion. But you know, that coal shad just to me, it can't hold a candlestick to what a mag draft can do.
Okay. Hey, that's I get it.
There's a reason a mag draft is still the number one. Like when somebody's like, "Are you throwing a 6-inch swim bait?" Like the first thing they think about is a mag draft.
Is a mag draft.
Yeah.
Hey, makes sense. Jonah, right there at the very top above Farmer's comment, right there. Does an underspin ever come into mind when maybe it would be too flat or too clear for a spinnerbait? Now he's saying flat.
I don't think it's
like,
ever too flat or clear for a spinnerbait. That's my opinion.
Not this time.
Not
of year. This time of year. It's all about water clarity. It don't really make a damn if it's stained water, muddy enough. If they want to eat a spinnerbait, they'll eat a spinnerbait. It doesn't matter if the wind's blowing or not. I mean, I've caught them on slick, calm days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the wind helps. I mean, a nice breeze helps to put a little chop, but
I mean, I've caught
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. I've caught Wolfpack and largemouth in 6 inches of water in super clear water on a bluebird calm day. Like, see them go down the bank and pitch a spinnerbait, been able to catch them. Yeah. And that's like mountain lakes in Western North Carolina. But I mean, they'll do that on Lanier too.
But they're feeding. That's why they're up there. So yeah, that makes sense.
They're up there hunting.
Cranking and yanking. How much difference do you think there is between the chatterbait and, say, a Colorado bladed spinnerbait?
I think it's big for profile. I think it's big on profile.
Which is big? I mean,
I feel like with the chatterbait, I feel like it's a little bit smaller of a profile. It also puts out a totally different vibration than a Colorado blade spinnerbait does.
Okay.
You know, a Colorado blade spinnerbait's a big pop, 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 pop going through there, especially like this one. You know, it's going to be double thumping.
I forgot your sound effects.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be really humming along, like for me, a chatterbait. I mean, there's a lot of great chatterbaits. A jackhammer's hard to beat.
They are.
They're just really good. They're really, really good. I like the gap on the hook. I love the little upward spine trailer or little tail for throwing your threading your piece of plastic on.
Yeah.
Really holds a piece of plastic on really good, especially when you get skipping docks around stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's to me, a jackhammer is a jackhammer, and always will be a jackhammer.
Oh, I get you.
So
T-Toms. Let's pull that thing up. For spinner baits, do shad and bluegill colored skirts have an effect on the bite? Same question for blade colors.
Again, I've never really thrown a bluegill colored spinnerbait.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're out there, but shad color stuff, I was like, most of the time, I mean, like, let's be honest, like a chartreuse and white spinnerbait looks like shad. It's kind of gives off bait fish imitation. You know, bass don't see chartreuse the way we see chartreuse.
That's right.
When they see that spinnerbait, it's like a two-tone white, the way that the cones in their eyes are. So like I don't really know exactly. It was explained. I found a video where it explained it to me what they actually see when they see a white. They actually see the white, and then the chartreuse is almost like
different
like
white,
a creamy silver.
Yeah,
is almost the way they see it, but it looks two-tone to them.
That's right.
So, and that can look like a shad. You know.
Yeah, I get it. Jonah wants to know on that fire crawl jackhammer, what trailer are you using?
Oh, this one right here. So like the jackhammer, I pretty much like only throw like two trailers pretty much. This is a Big Bite Baits Kamikaze.
He's got some here.
There they are right there. It's a 4 1/4 Big Bite Baits Kamikaze. I've never personally done good on the fire crawl chatterbait with like a fire crawl trailer.
Yeah,
it's always been better with like a green pumpkin trailer for me. Mm-hmm. I will dip the tails like sometimes maybe like chartreuse or orange a little bit, like
just the tips,
like this much of it or something like that, and I'll put that on there. But I'll throw that one, or I'll throw I have that color with green pumpkin, and I have white pearl for the chatterbaits. And then the only other one is this one, and this is the one that's tied on laying on deck right now.
Not those.
I will find.
He's looking for them.
I will find them though. They're in here somewhere.
I'll get the farmer's question, but Kevin Thornton, I should have known this was coming. Terminator titanium wire custom spinnerbait is the bait. He loves those things right there. It's got to be a Terminator. All right, back to Ryan.
Swim Cinco.
Yeah, Swim Cinco.
The Swim Cinco. It's Yamamoto. They have superior action.
Mm-hmm.
For a chatterbait. They like it. You know, Brett Height really brought a Swim Cinco to the forefront of the world several years ago on Seminole. He was throwing a Swim Cinco on the back of his green pumpkin chatterbait down on Seminole and boat raced everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't even like, I don't even think he had to even catch a limit on Sunday when they had the shortened day.
He pull a Polinick?
I think he had like, I don't even know. He had close to 90 pounds, and I think second was like 77.
Wow.
It was, and he threw a green pumpkin jackhammer or evergreen. It was evergreen at the time. And he had green pumpkin Swim Cinco on the back. All
right, so we're going to come back to Farmer's question because we're going to do the question now. But real quick, King of Bass wants to know, is that a Richardson hat that I'm wearing? It is a Richardson hat. I got them right here. Let's see. Yeah, what model? It's just Richardson Outdoor. So, yeah, I think I got a few still here at the shop. So if you want one, come get one. All right, so we'll come back to Farmer's question. Right now we're going to do the question of the night.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. And I'm going to give away some big Cinco, power bait Cincos, Morning Dawn, and these. And I'll be honest with you, I got 2 packs of these in the store, so I'm just gonna get rid of them right here tonight. This is the Yamamoto Creature, black with red flakes, a little creature bait kind of thing. So anyway, that's what we're gonna get tonight. So here's your question. It is a 3. Oh yeah, good Lord. Hey, way to get me there, boss.
Again.
Listen, I get so excited because I get to do the question and Kevin's not doing it. So I thought I had a good question tonight. So, guys, hey, listen, question tonight's brought to you by Serve IT. If your company is looking for a complete 100% managed IT solution, Serve IT is a company for you. They are American-based, and actually they set everything they do with customer service in mind. That is the primary goal. They will get on your problems start to finish. Doesn't matter whether you're a big company or a small company. 100% total solution. Serve IT. And again, guys, if you're looking to change careers and you might have what you think it takes to be in the IT world, go to serveit.com and check them out in the career section. And you don't have to have experience. If you've got what they're looking for, especially an outgoing attitude, customer service oriented, you might land you a job right there. So now can I do the question? We appreciate Serve IT.
Yeah,
we good now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in honor of Kevin, there are three answers. Now, if you Google something different, we don't care because this is what we found when we looked it up. There may be different answers, but you got to have R3 tonight. Okay. So I'm going to read it two times. Here we go. What Canadian province? I started to say Providence again. What Canadian province is getting rid of smallmouth bass because they think it's an invasive species? I need the province. I need the county in which they're doing this in that province, and I need the name of the lake. Okay, so I need the county, I need the province, the county. God, I murdered this, and the name of the lake. So let's do it again. What Canadian province is getting rid of smallmouth bass because they feel it's an invasive species? I need the province, the county in which it's doing it, inside that province, and the lake. So you guys, Alex is peeing. So he'll catch up with you here in a second. So it's kind of interesting. We brought that up. You brought that up before the show. That's why we got that question. And they're using some kind of chemical, and I want to say it's like Neterone or something like that, that they're gonna spray in the water, and it supposedly just kills smallmouth bass. So I never thought there would be any place ever that thought smallmouth bass was bad.
Like I wish we could go up there with some totes and some bubblers and bring them down here.
Bring them down here. We did put them back in Blue Ridge like that. So you get in there, Alex.
I think he's dropping a herky.
What's up? What's up, lip sticker? So anyway, again, what Canadian province is getting rid of smallmouth bass? You're getting close, Bass Fishing Live. I need the province. You feel better?
Oh, I had to pee so bad.
Dude, you just need to have your Gatorade bottle in there and just whip it out and go in the bottle like you're going down the road. Anyway, so according to our research, the province, the county inside that province, and the lake itself. So you guys keep throwing it up there. And again, if we're the wrong answers, it's what we got when we Googled it. So the hell with y'all's answers right there. So, but right there, wait a second. Freaking Thornton.
Can he win?
No, because me and Clint can't win.
Yeah.
So let's just say the answers might be out there for one individual there, but he can't win. So you guys keep going on right there. So the dumbest one, people in a lake that was good. Drew's drinking tonight. Guys, I'm telling you, listen, the answer is in the comment section. Should we give it to Grant? Because no, say Coleman. Coleman Jones got it right there. So Nova Scotia, Guysborough County, and Dobson Lake. And
That's an easy question.
I know, Kevin, but I did.
We're not trying to split the atom and fiber hairs of a boat deck.
Yeah, I know.
Based upon 79.9 degree air temperature.
How many fibers of fiberglass is in a 1987 Ranger?
Yeah, and you know what? The bad thing about it is he knows it, and somebody will figure it out. So anyway, all right. Coleman Jones, I'll send it to you. And Drew Patterson says guilty, so he's definitely drinking tonight. So, hey, listen, have one on us, buddy. As long as you're home and you ain't driving, go for it. Now, let's get back up to some of the questions. Actually, just, you know what? Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Let's make it easier on you. You guys that popped a question in there that we have not asked yet, type it again. So that way I'm going to try to take it easy on Alex back there because his bladder – his bladder is giving him problems back there. Ain't no college algebra right
3,280 fibers.
Looks like Kevin's got an answer.
It's a little light.
Is that a little light right there? So, but anyway, okay. We'll keep talking to some new questions or comments come back up. Appreciate you guys joining us. And Coleman, I'll get that out there to you. Now, spinnerbait, War Eagle, lots of times you and I have had the conversation about the diameter of the wire.
Yeah.
And I've had guys say some spinnerbaits, their wire is too thick. It doesn't give off the pump. I know you've tied some up and everything. What is the perfect wire diameter for a spinnerbait, in your opinion?
40. 40 has just enough strength and puts out just enough vibration. You're going to catch a handful more fish than you would with a 35.
What's a War Eagle?
35.
35. Okay.
35 thousandths wire diameter. 35 thousandths is like the thinnest wire you can really get for a spinnerbait. Once you get, I don't even know if they make clevises that'll go on any smaller diameter wire, because they'll be too loose on the wire diameter. But yeah, I think 40 is perfect. Miss me personally.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I get it. Tony Watkins wants to know: do you fish a spinnerbait later on in the summer, or is spring pretty much it?
Nah, I mean it's on Lanier. Like I think I said it earlier. Like post into April, starting around the end of April, 1st of April, middle of April, somewhere around in there. I pretty much throw a mini-me, and it lays there.
Yeah.
Especially on a windy day with high boat traffic, and you get a mud line created on some of the islands on Lanier, you can throw like a painted blade mini-me. He makes that whatever it is, that spot seducer, I think it's called. It's like chartreuse pearl.
Right.
Got a little bit of black and pearl skirt in it, but painted blade with chartreuse and white painted blades on it.
Okay.
Man, if they're up there on those wind-blown mud line points, oh man, if there's a spot up there that's like over 3.5 pounds,
you're gonna hit it.
They'll destroy it.
Okay.
They'll absolutely kill it.
That makes sense.
It's a good way to get an upgrade too if you're a tournament fisherman right at the end of the day. It's a good way to get
looking for a kicker.
Yeah, if you're looking for a kicker, you can spend 30, 45 minutes doing that real quick, just bang, bang, bam, 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 and then you're bound to run into one. So
that makes sense.
I want to see. I think you're going to see a little bit more of that though coming up. I just want to say this.
No, you did. Go ahead.
I think you're going to see a little bit more of that returning because of the pressure of Four Faces sonar.
Oh Lord, he opened that box.
Yes, I did.
He opened that box.
You
think so though? Seriously, in all seriousness.
Yeah, I think there's going to be.
We're gonna have a renaissance of the spinnerbait and the old school fishing on Lake Lanier.
No, I know I'm not saying that. There's guys like me who still fish traditional, but they still utilize the forward-facing sonar at times to catch fish and to find fish and whatnot. But I think you're going to see some of these. There's so many people. Like last year was really, really hard evident of it. There are so many people that don't even know what the bank looks like anymore.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And I'm not saying nothing bad. Like I'm not saying that's terrible.
Or how did the mechanics? You lose the mechanics. Like I've full blown. I was a big scoper trying to like really learn the scoping game, and then I went to the dock when it started getting warmer, and I was like, dang, I can't skip like I used to. But like whatever you're putting the time into, it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, no,
like that it's like sense. Riding a bike. I mean, once you get up there, like but the first 4 docks, you smack them, and then all of a sudden you finally start putting it back into place. But I feel like it does make a difference when you're fishing offshore a lot more.
That's a good point.
Leave it to Picasso up there.
Yeah, they've got the thinnest.
0.28
thousandths.
Yeah.
Okay, but look, skip down to and I'll get to yours in a second, Joey Metcalf. Skip down to Tony Hall right there at the bottom because he makes spinnerbaits. I make them as low as 0.029, but they are prone to disfigure and break really easily. Mm-hmm. My staple is a 35.
I wonder what the Mega Bass one is because it's super thin. I remember I was telling Ryan Hanks about this a couple weeks ago. I was in the boat with Oliver Nye, and this was he was sponsored by Mega Bass at the time, and he had a Mega Bass spinnerbait tied on. We're on the Mississippi River fishing for smallmouth. And I was filming, and then he was like, we got everything we needed. So he was like, oh, you can make a couple casts off the back of the boat. So I'd never fished a Mega Bass spinnerbait at all. It's super light wire. And so I was like, okay, whatever. It's spinnerbait. Like I've caught a ton of fish on a spinnerbait. So
you almost said a shit ton.
Yeah. And then and so I sling down the next laydown, and we're fishing in current and stuff. And so I feather it down the next laydown, get crushed by a 4.5 pound smallmouth, and then I'm going to reel it in and go to boat flip. He's like, no, don't boat flip it. I'm like, boat flip it in anyway. And then he's like, dude, you're going to break the spinnerbait. It's such a light wire. And that was the first time I'd ever heard about you're going to break it because it's such a light. I was just thinking, that's a spinnerbait, dude. I'm going to boat flip 5-pounder. Like, why not?
Right.
And so that blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean it's too light of a wire?
That makes sense. So
Until it actually happens.
until it happens, yeah,
Yep.
Until it happens, you don't think nothing about that until
Yep.
it actually breaks.
Yep.
right
And
there.
then you're just like, shit.
And it's like a
Why
20.
did I just do that?
It's like a $20 spinner
And
bait too.
if we be honest,
yeah.
you say a lot more than that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I do
that's
so.
the nice. That's the PG.
Yeah, that's the
thing.
PG version.
Let's say
I
pull up
agree.
lip sticker right there.
Right now.
Right now, white and gold willow with a red Colorado kicker. Right now in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you that earlier because a lot of spinnerbaits will have that, like, I think Nichols makes some too that's got that orange
Yeah.
little Colorado in the middle. It had it'd have a nickel or
Pulse
gold.
makes one too.
Who does?
Pulse.
Yeah, it's just got that. And I guess that orange right there, that's
And
just
War
for,
Eagle does too. About everybody does make a version of that.
so is that just for visibility though?
I mean, it can make a difference.
Just something for it to target
You know,
on though?
Yeah, I mean, it can make a difference. I mean, I've caught fish with one, with the red kicker or the orange kicker, whatever color it is. I mean, I've caught fish on it, but like, do I reach for it like all the time? No.
No. Okay.
So speaking of diameter, what do you do with line diameter? Do you play around with that on playing around with different lines, or are you just chucking 20-pound and
17?
Absolutely. That's 17. 17-pound fluorocarbon.
On everything.
My whole theory, RSI over here,
Redneck Science Institute.
My whole theory is if you can get them to eat a spinnerbait, they don't give a damn about wire or line diameter.
no?
If they're going to come eat this big old metal thing with all this metal clanging and banging together,
Yeah.
and it don't matter.
It's kind of like an A-rig. They don't care about them.
And I would rather if I get a spinnerbait bite. See, like a spinnerbait bite is like in a tournament situation. It's a keeper. It should be a keeper 99% of the time.
Yeah.
That's and it's not just a 14-incher. It should be. We'll just talk general largemouth fishing. It should be 2.5 plus.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in a tournament situation, that's when you got to get in the boat. So, 17-pound test. The other thing too with 17-pound test is like that big one I caught a couple weeks ago.
That big one. That's okay.
Well,
No,
it ate it beside the dock.
yeah.
Well, when it ate it, I set the hook, and the first thing she does is go back under the dock.
Oh yeah.
If I didn't have 17-pound test, I don't know if I'd have got her back out from underneath there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You
You
got to
know,
hustle a little bit.
And then in blowdowns, the heavier line is to me is really important because I've had some get it and they wrap me around the limb, and it's like you got to kick the trolling motor on high, go up there to them, try to go get them, and then bam, they actually get them. You actually get them in the boat. If it was on 12,
Probably break.
Even 15. I've had 15 break my heart plenty of times.
I really don't play with like spinnerbaits and stuff with less than 17.
Okay. No, it makes
You're
sense.
throwing 17-pound mono, right?
No, I throw fluorocarbon. No, I'm throwing fluorocarbon.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, I only throw top water baits and buzz baits on mono
Yeah.
and floating worm.
In the floating worm.
So
And it's about that time for
and
that
it's on
too.
a bait caster. It ain't on a sissy stick.
Does a U-bend base sissy stick? Does a U-bend versus a loop bend matter when it comes to a spinnerbait? No. Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, I've had like Ryan Coleman, spot sticker. He got R bends and twist ends and stuff, and it don't really matter. It's whatever preference you want to buy. There's some people who get really into it. Tony Hall, he's over here commenting, makes spinnerbaits. I'm sure he's probably had many of people say it's got to have a twist in the end of it, or oh no, it better have R bend in it. I don't want it. I think it's just personal preference.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. DS Bass Guide. Do you ever drag a spinnerbait on the bottom? Now, that got brought up a couple shows ago. Just letting it barely spin or just flopping it. Who was that talked about that?
I think it might have been me.
Was it you?
I was catching them on Smith Lake, dragging it in
That's
30 foot
right.
of water on the bottom, just crawling it. But you got to put a big fat trailer on it, and that helps. Like I was catching spots, and I mean it was cold. It was cold water, but I mean I was catching them in 20, 30 foot off the fronts of docks and like letting it hit the bottom past the dock and then just crawling it.
Somebody, was it the MPFL guy that came on? Somebody mentioned just like popping it like 2 or 3 times and letting it
Was
fall.
that
2 or 3
Rob?
times.
Was that Rob talking about those Omega spinnerbaits?
I don't know, but I remember somebody was mentioning
Yeah.
it. So somebody brought
Maybe.
that up. Let's see right there.
Oh, speaking of Rob and Omega.
Yeah, Omega has amazing spinnerbaits that need to be talked about more. Taylor Watkins owns the company and is a 3-time MPF.
They make some really good stuff. I like their
Omega.
Yeah. I've been playing with their hookup head a lot. I wish he'd make it lighter. He's going to eventually. But like they make some really cool
Hey,
stuff.
Rob, give me some free spinnerbaits. I'll try them out and talk about them. See if you can help a brother out. Jonah wants to know what brand line you use.
It's 17-pound FC Sniper.
The FC Sniper. There you go. And then Tim Wyatt says an A-rig's totally different. Definitely more bites on 15-pound fluoro than anything else. And he throws
He's
15.
the A-rig man.
He can throw. He's the one that taught me how to throw A-rig. I throw 15 fluoro on everything other than a spinning reel. So he's got. And that he's got confidence in that.
Yeah.
In that thing too. First A-rig he ever gave me had one arm missing. He did. I said, I ain't never thrown them things. I think we were over at Cedar Creek, and he took an arm off. Or no, he didn't take it. It was broke. And he threw it on there, and I just chunked it out there and hell, I caught a fish on it. It was like, but, it worked that day. So let's see. I think we're caught. Okay, Nate Fisher, appreciate you joining us tonight. What crankbait are you throwing this time of year if the spinnerbait ain't working? Give it up to Juice because I know you caught him on a crankbait the other day, dog.
It's right there.
I know you caught him the other day.
It's right there.
Now,
there's my trailer hook.
He's throwing a rock crawler. I knew, yeah.
Delta crawl.
And that was the one that one time. How many casts? Now, this is a true story, guys. This is true story. How many did you catch in a row on consecutive casts that one day?
19.
Oh my God.
He did.
He found them piled
19.
up, son.
I made 20 casts and caught 19 in a row.
That's awesome.
On there.
The first cast, and then,
were you able to stay off of them that much? Like they were just set up?
Yeah, spot lock's amazing.
That's awesome.
It was on this special point.
Yeah,
It was on this special
Yeah, it's
point.
on this little point.
I know where the point is.
It always loads up.
He
every
takes me
year.
there every time we go.
It always loads up. I've caught some big ones there. I've caught some small ones, but yeah.
But yeah, 19.
What was the
out of
average
20.
size fish in that school?
Like 2.
Okay.
Yeah, what
Largemouth?
And they were
spots?
both. Oh, they were both. I think I caught like 4 or 5 largemouth out of school. The rest of them were all spots.
Okay.
Oh, they were just laying up there, and it was like one. Like Bronson was with me because we were fishing a tournament when it happened. Bronson literally put his rod down, was just standing there with a net, and he was just standing there in the bottom deck of my boat, and I'd catch him, and he'd grab him, and he would take it off. Here, throw my. Go back out there again. There's another one. He's like, I ain't even got this one. He just finally he goes, the hell with it, and he just opens up both sides of the live well, and they're just both open. He just starts chunking them in the live well.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, we'll figure out which one's the biggest ones later.
And that wasn't on forward facing, was it?
No, that was
you
just
didn't have
pure,
it at that time.
No, that was just pure. Yeah,
Got to hear
was
Bronson talk about it. I was like,
yeah.
Is that an RK55?
Yes, RK55. I'll throw the RK55, and I'll throw the whatever the 50.
Warren Barnes. He was the one talking about the flop when he was on the other day.
There you go.
He was talking about flopping
right.
blades. I knew it was somebody recent. Warren, I'm sorry,
right.
buddy. My brain doesn't work like it used to.
And that's funny too.
What's that?
I'm cranking and yanking. So Berkeley Vanish. Some people say it sucks, but if you get a fresh spool, that shit's stout.
Berkeley Vanish?
Oh, it's actually like if you get a fresh spool at Walmart or something like that, it is actually a really good line.
Really?
I ain't no lie. Like I've had jigs hung in brush piles and like wrapped the thing around my hand. God, man, keep breaking. You're like that's like 15-pound test line, and you're like I'm pulling the brush pile up.
Yeah.
It really.
If you get a fresh spool.
If you get a fresh spool, I had bought a spool one time, and I was using it for leader, and just to see what it was done because I had to experiment with stuff every blue moon when I'm fun fishing, and it was crap.
Check your mate says never buy it at Bass Pro, always at Walmart. So I guess you get the fresh spools at Walmart.
Yeah.
So.
They got the fresh truck.
It's dated by. Carson Fowler, my buddy up there, wants to know if you use a jig during the spawn.
Yeah, so that was the other thing that I brought too. was jigs. Right now I'm throwing black and blue, getting bit pretty decent on black and blue jig. It's that one. Dang it. That one, just one like that. A little bit of blue in it, mainly black. Just one I make at home.
Throwing it in stain.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm throwing like hold on, I think I got it in here.
More props.
No,
That's funny.
he's got Santa's basket over there.
Yeah, there we go. I'm throwing a rage crawl on the back, rage chunk on the back. Whatever chunk you like to put on the back, do it. That's the only thing I can really tell you, because this time of year they're looking for a big meal.
Right.
So I know a lot of people like Farmer. He has a lot of success this time of year putting like a Z crawl on the back because it's a big bulky profile. The other thing too is like it skips really good because it's so flat. You want something that you can really get underneath the docks a lot with and around structure that might be, because again, we're still targeting docks for the most part, but man, just black and blue just works. It works so good this time of year. And then after about end of March, I don't even think about it again.
I know some guys that throw black and blue all year long on Lanier, and I'm like, and they have success, but like I have zero confidence
Dana
in black
Smith.
and blue.
I mean,
Dana
you watch Dana on Sunday nights and Thursday nights whenever he drops his videos. I mean, he's on black and blue. All he does is change color of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he does. He's got a green pumpkin on the back, or he's got like a black.
Very simple.
So
he keeps it very, very, very simple. Jonah, for you said the PB&J that we tie here. If you want to know, Ryan is the one that taught me how to tie jigs. So I don't know if I've ever told you guys that, but yeah, he's the one that taught me how to tie them. So
little practice goes a long way.
Thank you very much, and I can even do them freehand now.
Oh,
I don't like to do it.
Now you're a man.
I'm a man.
Now you're a man.
So let me ask you this, because he mentioned the spawn. Are you throwing those jigs? Like if you come up on a bedded bass, jig's not the first thing you're going to throw, though.
No.
If we're being honest.
No. So for me, it's two different strategies for spawning fish. Fish that are actually like either going on the bed, like a buck has made the bed and he's courting a female, or they're actually physically on the bed. You can actually physically see them on the bed. In muddy stained water, a floating worm will absolutely get them. Mm-hmm. They are less spooky when they're on the bed. They're way less spooky, and they will actually like chase that thing off the bed. Kind of like how the spots will. Everyone knows when the spots are spawning, you just go to the lake with a spinning rod, a pack of shaky heads, and some worms, and just go throw it around.
And it could be 20 foot from a spot,
and they'll come and get the dang thing.
Yeah.
There's all different kind of strategies for them, but if you just want to go catch spotted bass when they're spawning, you can throw a shaky head, just green pumpkin shaky head, and just go drag it around.
And you'll know if they're there.
Yeah, exactly. It does not take very long. I do. I see that about that. I do trim the skirts on the jigs, but for me, like I throw the methylate trick worm. I tossed it this weekend. Might get ridiculed from this, but I did find one that I'm pretty sure was already up there on the bed. This past
it wouldn't
weekend.
shock me.
It would not eat it. It boiled on it, and she's been like 4 pounds, somewhere around in there. It could have been a buck.
That's a big buck,
I've caught some big buck largemouth in Lanier in the past couple of years. So that's not out of the realm possibility, but it wouldn't eat it. Here for too long, when the water temperature gets around 55, 56 and stays there, they'll really eat that floating worm, that methylate trick worm. The Zoom is good, but I've absolutely, the past 2-3 years, I've absolutely fell in love with the softy one because it's more of a translucent.
Yeah.
Is more of a translucent methylate. I used to throw bubble gum. Bubble gum, it seems like when it starts getting real sunny, they'll shy away from it. It seems like bubble gum works better in overcast days, lower light conditions.
Really?
Yeah, I guess because they seem to get it, but that's just me. That's just my personal preference. I like the methylate. I feel like I can get bit on methylate. My rule of thumb is 2 bites. that don't get it. If they look at me, I got my thumbs up over there.
Oh, it works for you too.
So
I thought it was just me.
yeah, so look, yeah.
You ain't that
I thought
special.
it was my special thing.
So but I'll start with phthalate with the softy, and then if I get like 2 bulls and they just won't eat it, I'll reel it in and I'll take it off and I'll put a bubblegum softy on.
Okay.
I used to throw the Zoom trick worms, but the softies float.
Softy makes a hell of a
They're
worm.
so much. They're just so much better.
No, I've never even heard of one.
No,
I got one wall back there.
They float really
All
good.
them yellow ones.
Yeah,
I will say this: they're awesome. Remember when we did the tank thing?
Yeah.
That one episode. So we had that fish. We got to do that again. But we had that tank down there. We had a camera on it, so we were holding worms to see how they would react on a shaky head and on a drop shot. A softy worm is dead level, pretty much, right? When it is on a drop shot, that worm just sits there like this, and when you put it on a shaky head, it rises up. I don't know what they do to it, how they got that formula. It's great.
Huh.
Hey, when would you throw a floating worm over a spinnerbait?
I'll throw the floating worm more than a spinnerbait here when I know there's more of them have gone on the bed. I don't get bit as much on a spinnerbait after I know they're like I physically know fish. There's a bunch of fish getting on the bed. Like I know I physically can see a bunch of fish going on the bed.
It seems like with a spinnerbait, you're talking more cover oriented fishing too.
Yes. The floating worm is rigged as not exactly. There's actually, if you type in on YouTube and you type in how to rig a floating worm, there is actually a video of me.
Yep.
Rather than me sitting here explaining it, there's actually a video of me on showing you how I actually rig the thing.
Because it's a little different.
And it is a little bit different.
You put a little bit of a bend in it.
You got to put a bend in it. That bend gives it this odd trap action where it'll do this little dive spin and kind of like this little turnaround back to it. And I throw it with a swivel about 12 inches from the end of the worm, and then and I throw it on baitcaster.
Yeah, that's on our page, Fish North Georgia. Drew Patterson, what was that thing he had right there? Pull that up. Do they make a 6-inch softy? Drew, I know how old you are. You damn well know they make a 6-inch softy.
Maybe in the locker room.
Yes, they do. So actually, the softy has 2 sizes. It's actually a 6.25.
Yeah.
So we have those, and then they make the 5-inch right there. So I love you, Drew. You know I'm just playing with you. And Farmer does have a good tip. If you don't have a pack of softies, you can take a toothpick, put it in the worm of any tail, and that toothpick will help it stand up on a shaky head. Did you know that, Clint?
Yep.
Do you do that?
I've done it. I've done it a little bit, but only really with like bedding fish.
Telling you, green pumpkin daggum Ned rig is deadly on a bed. Mm-hmm. Deadly on a bed. Now, you're not throwing it on 17-pound fluoro or test like that, so you got to be able to play it right there. Water temp on Lanier lately, Ryan said earlier he was seeing it upper 40s, lower 50s still.
Yeah, I think we
can warm up later in the day, but that's
well, Sunday when we took out like 3 o'clock, it was 52. But that was up. That was up the lake. I have not, like I told Clint earlier, he asked me where I've been fishing, and I said, well, 2 weeks ago we had a tournament. We went in over there, a little small 10-boat tournament, and I got invited to, and we put in at Duckett Mill, and we blasted off. I left Duckett Mill. I didn't see Duckett Mill again until like 2:53 or something like that.
You went
when
north.
I pulled back in.
You went north.
Yeah. So I've been up either river arm.
Okay, so Brian Marcuson says too that south end was 50 in the morning, 53 in the afternoon. That makes sense.
So it's pretty much the same kind of
across the lake.
But do we think that's going to warm up like crazy this week?
You think that rain will help warm it up because it's supposed to be thunderstorms
and
those kind of things?
South, isn't it? Like coming from like
it's coming like
it's supposed to be a warmer rain.
Yeah, I would say it would. We have, I mean, we have a little small tournament, small club tournament Sunday, so it'll be, and it's up at Laurel. We're up at Laurel Park. Just a little, we got our little 10-boat club tournament. Let
me ask you this though, because that's the Chattahoochee coming in. If it rains overnight, how fast does that muddy up at Laurel? Does it take some time for it to get down there, or is it like muddy when you get there? Like if you had a heavy ass rain like they're expecting.
The main channel, no. Like the back of Wahoo and Little River will absolutely get blowed out.
Yeah.
It will absolutely get blowed out. The main, there you go, right there. He just said it. Like it takes about 2 days for the main body of the river channel to, like, if we have like the rain that they're talking about coming this Saturday night.
Yeah,
I mean, they're talking like, an inch or so of rain,
tornadoes and all this stuff coming.
Yeah, it'll be.
He says from Clark's Bridge.
Yeah. So
okay, that's interesting. I didn't know it took that long. Let's see, cranking and yanking, right there. And Jonah, I'll get yours next. Sorry, I just saw that. You guys need to make a trip down to Caddo Lake.
Yeah, Caddo would be cool. It's
For your new
the
series?
only natural lake in all of Texas.
yes.
It's the only.
So cranking
cool.
and yanking, that series that you're seeing on YouTube, that's actually season 1 that we had on Waypoint in 23. Season 2 is there now. So as it gets older, once it airs, we're allowed to put them now on our YouTube channel. So hey, I'm all for it.
Caddo's cool. I got some people for you over there.
You do?
Yeah, some people that run med boats and all kinds of fun stuff. Go catch them on a frog in June. It's a good time.
Okay, we'll do that. So
Yep.
Tim White, Toto was 49 in the AM and 53 Saturday.
Yeah,
That seems pretty consistent.
It seems to be pretty consistent, roughly within a degree or so across from one end of the lake to the other.
Biggest cypress tree forest in
Yeah,
the world.
it's insane. It's wild.
They also have a Bigfoot.
He's got Bigfoot?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ryan is in
Yeah.
love with Bigfoot.
They also have a Bigfoot.
There's a good Bobby Barrack video throwing a frog out there.
Oh, I bet. The cypress trees and all
yeah.
that.
It's good. It's like the Santee of Texas, but it's all the same. Like it's cool.
That would be pretty awesome. You still searching for Bigfoot?
Yes.
He wants his brother to come back.
Well, he's as big as Bigfoot like
I
that.
don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like if we ever start, we could do a whole episode on Ryan's search for Bigfoot. What do you that tell me, like the knocks? You could hear they knock a certain way on the things.
Yeah.
And can't you do the scream?
Yes. of
Just
course.
do the Bigfoot
No,
scream. Ryan,
no,
come on.
I cannot do it in here.
Yes, you
It'll
can.
blow the speakers out.
I'll put my hands on it.
No, absolutely.
You can't do it. He does
I'll let
it.
you make a video of me one day doing it.
It is the most
We'll go into the woods and go.
blood curling scream you've ever heard that he does.
I'll do it one day.
Okay, we'll do
We'll
it.
make a
one day.
video on it.
I'd be
And you
curious.
can post it.
How about any of you guys in the comment section actually believe in Bigfoot? Okay, actually believe in Bigfoot. I would like to know. Farmer says Bigfoot and mine and Ryan's is their cousin.
Yeah.
Well, y'all both big. How come Bigfoot can't be small? Why can't he be 5'7" with just a big ass foot? Why does he got to be like 9 foot tall? Huh?
More than just a big ass foot.
He's
He's
dragging,
5'7".
he got 3 dragging down there.
Yeah.
Like, what's this solid track dragging in the middle of these 2 feet down there? That's that 5'7" Bigfoot right there. Problem I ain't got right there. So
Let me see. Farmers asked us, please plug that question like 3 times now. I've seen it.
are you you targeting docks mostly or flats and wood with your spinnerbaits?
I'm mainly targeting docks and wood.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing too much on flats.
Well, how big of a play does flats come into play this time of year? If they're staging up.
For me, it's like, well, a lot of so I got one place right now that they pushing bait up on a flat like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And you can catch them pretty good on a jerk bait pretty easy. But
that brings me to another question I saw about Carolina rigging. Because I know last year on Alatoona, the guys were pulling Carolina rig across flats. How would you attack a flat right now?
Mostly with a jerk bait or I'll throw a crankbait across it. That's me being me.
You being you?
Yeah.
Ryan being
typically.
Ryan? I wouldn't expect nothing.
If nowadays, like if fish have pulled up on a flat, and here we go. If fish are pushing bait up, no, what I'm about to say.
Oh, okay, here we go.
If fish are pushing bait up on a flat area, like, man, you almost doing yourself a disservice not actually like scoping around on it.
That makes sense.
In all seriousness,
No, I agree.
You really are doing yourself kind of a disservice. To not
I like
being able to
cranking a
scope
deep
around it.
jerk bait on that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
cranking like a +2 and just reeling it, burning it, stopping it, burning it, stopping it when they're up on that 2 to 5 foot flat in the back, like staging.
Just kicking up
Mhm.
the.
That or a trap. I mean, I like a trap this time of year.
Okay, no, I like that. Let's see. I love watching Bigfoot documentaries. Bigfoot is the hide and seek world champion. Absolutely, it is.
Mhm.
If you were on a lake, good question right here. If you were on a lake with no docks, where else would you throw a blade other than laydowns?
Other than laydowns, I would pretty much be throwing it on like little bitty, like I'm gonna use one of my buddy Josh Good's term, and I like it. Little corners that go into like they're like come off of points, and then they go around the bend, and then there's like a little. It's not really another point per se, but it's almost like a little corner that goes out. That just a little bit something, little irregularity on the bank.
Yeah,
and I would throw a spinnerbait past it and bring it as close as I can to that little corner.
Would you ever just go down the bank, even a bare bank, just kind of 45 in it or parallel on the bank?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely, if I didn't have any docks, then yes. Throwing it 45 in it down the bank is definitely keeping it in the strike zone is definitely the best scenario. I don't know what that lake he's talking about might be. Maybe it's his home lake or something like that. Look for grass, because if they really ain't got docks to like kind of stage on, they'll stage in that grass. They'll stage like on shallow grass line.
Okay,
especially some of that early budding grass.
And a lot of those lakes, like Western North Carolina, North Georgia, that have those like mountain laurel, like it's almost like just overgrowth on the sides of the, like being able to parallel those. I've got a bunch on a spinnerbait Lake Glenville up
that
there.
Would make sense. That would make sense
in the mountains. But
what about Carter's? Brad Silver says Carter's.
No, I think that's what like he was talking about that he fishes.
Yeah.
So like Carter's, it would be like little corners going into like little pockets and stuff like that would be what I would throw at.
I got you. That makes sense.
But if you've got an area where it's got like some like blowdowns be number one, like any kind of stumps up close to the bank would be number two. That for me, that would be where I would look to try to get spinnerbait bite this time of year.
So if you're going this weekend to a lake that's not linear, it's a herring lake, and you're going to go sling a spinnerbait, what are you looking for on the map as far as like where you're going to go start, where you're going to spend your time? Like, are you looking for secondary points? Are you looking for those flats or what's leading into those flats? Or like you looking for rock, you looking for docks? Like what makes a good area, a good creek off the main lake that you're going to go target on a lake that you haven't been to?
Are you fishing a lake this weekend you ain't been to?
I mean, no. I've spent a lot of time out there. But
well, that really is a fantastic question. So like, I would actually like, before I would go into that, if I was going to a lake that was like that, what you're talking about, and I won't name the lake unless you want it to be named.
Oh, have y'all already had this conversation a little bit or mentioned it?
No, he actually just asked me that question.
Yeah,
I would go find the pockets and stuff and backs of creek areas where it looks like the transition line in the back is very flat. So like, and what that means is, for me, what that means is like immediately jumping out on the map to say, oh, that might be an obvious place where they would spawn. Because like, I want to go fish like, and I gotta say this, not all pockets this time of year and stuff are not all of them are created equal.
Oh, true.
Because there are some that are just flat out dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't really go in there. Like in the spawn, because there's actually not bottom that's conducive for them to actually spawn. Mm-hmm. So that's really where I would go look. But if mixing in that, I would probably be around as many like secondary points as I could find. Mm-hmm. And I would really be keeping like a crankbait or something in my hand for the most part.
Points with wind. Martin Outdoor says that would be a good one too.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at Joey Metcalf's comment right there. I find this to be interesting. Pull that puppy up. When the lake is down, I go on a beaver hole marking spree. If you know, you know. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know. So explain, all right, so explain to me.
We'll revisit them. I'll go revisit them in the summer.
So what's he talking about for somebody that reads that comment? They're like, what the hell is he talking about? Like me.
Well, beavers build their little huts
in
the water. Yep. When the lake right now is like a half foot above full pool, I think. If we'll just talk linear for the moment, because beavers live on linear. I would go if your lake is down, I would go. You mark where you would find some beaver huts and little beaver dams and stuff, because guaranteed, as the spring rolls along into the summer, they will be they're fish attractors, and they're big fish attractors. So if you know that there's a beaver hut, that if the lake comes up, so like we'll talk Alatoona, I don't guess Alatoona is really at full pool quite
Hell
yet.
no, it's not.
So
no,
it's not.
Gosh.
So if you find beaver huts, mark them, put your waypoint on them or whatever it may be, and then come back to them when the water is over them. It looks like nothing's there because the water's over them, but think about how much wood and stuff is right there where that little beaver hut is.
Yeah.
And it can be an upgrade spot. Like you go run like 8 or 9 of them, and you may only get one bite, but there's a very, very, very good chance it's going to be a kicker.
And I wonder what that has to do with forage too, because you think beaver hut, they're eating shit in the hut, right? Like, so does that bring in the bait fish, bluegill, all that stuff, and just cause it to be a natural fish attractor because they're bringing shit back there all the time?
That and food and well, he said hole, so I thought it might have been something different. Yeah, I get what you said, but I get what he's saying
hole.
now.
Yeah,
makes sense. Got to go find you some beaver,
and that may be what he's talking about when he says beaver hole.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Carson Fowler, Danny, where were y'all catching him on Stamp Creek last weekend? Well, hell, we weren't. Because if Tim White's still in the comment section, ask him if they caught him. We didn't. We went all the way up Stamp Creek and didn't think about the lake being down 7 foot. It's down 7 foot again. They pulled it back down, and any bit of structure was out of the water.
Yeah.
Now we did catch a few spots on like some bluff wall kind of things and on little inside bends, but nothing great. So most of the guys that did well, they went out of Stamp Creek, Clear Creek, out up towards McCaskey, all that stuff.
So I will say this, since you said that about Alatoona, so I will say this, like the majority of, for me, the past couple of weeks, the majority of the bigger bites going into the pockets have been like on the second or third dock.
Going into a pocket.
Yes.
Why do you
not all the way in the back quite yet? Because I think they've really kind of like I think they committed a couple weeks ago when we had that first warm trend where it was like basically, the weather was the same all week. That second week in February.
Perfect.
And there was a bunch of them that committed, but they didn't go all the way. They just committed to say, okay, I'm going to go to the bank, essentially. But we haven't had really the combination of the moon phase with warmer temperatures yet for them to scoot on to the back and go back there where they start looking around. I have not found in the back, I have not found many buck bass yet.
Okay.
Just a few buck bass largemouth. And they are not back there in the little cut, in between two docks where there's like a 20-yard little cut where it's like it's protected spot where they can bed. I have not got bit right there yet. But it's coming.
It's coming.
And it may start happening this weekend. Who knows?
It could.
We'll see.
Check out Martin Outdoors. He said they shocked up an 8-pounder on Russell with DNR beside a beaver hut.
There you go.
So they were there. I know, I think a lot of people seem like what you were saying, though. They seem that if they see a beaver hut, they won't fish it because they're like, well, beavers eat fish, all that. There's not going to be any fish around them. But you're right. There's absolutely, it's great structure.
Yeah, beaver huts. I mean, they're for me, they're like horny-toed jig holes.
Okay, listen. Jonah, I'll get back to your question. Pull up Warren. I got to get Ryan's opinion on this. Okay,
I was thinking about it.
Warren, we have debated this since you were on the show. Now, Ryan, I don't know if you watched the show with Warren, but he swears up and down.
I haven't got to go back and watch it yet because I was really tired that day.
Okay, so he'll throw something up to like a shaky head.
And
if he's getting a bunch of bucks, he says, and this is Warren, this is you now. He will let them things pick it up. And he says they coming out, they bring it out 6-8 foot of water. That's what we said, and they'll drop it. And if you just hold it there, not every time, but a lot of times, boom, 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 you'll get another bite. And it's generally a big girl. Now, his theory is, and Warren, correct me if I'm wrong right there.
Bringing home the bacon.
He's bringing a love offering to the big female to try to entice her to come up to bed. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm asking you, what's your thoughts on that? And have you ever experienced that?
No, I can totally get where he's coming from on that. I've never really heard it described that way before.
Oh, it's a love offering.
So, like, as a love offering, that's kind of an interesting way of doing it, of saying that. But, so like in my experience so a buck has went up there and made a bed, and there's a female nearby.
Yes.
And so what she actually won't just go straight to the bed.
Correct.
She will wade off onto the wings of the bed out there in a little bit deeper water before she actually goes up there. You know, a lot of people got to realize too that like her internal body temperature has to be set perfectly for her to basically go up there and
Courtship.
for that buck to rub all over and not. And
It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with they want to eat before they spew, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got to have a good meal because I'm going to fall asleep right afterwards. So
Yeah.
my wife is the same way, cranking and yanking. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got listen. And this is for you younger guys. Y'all gonna rub a lot of backs when you're younger and all that, and that's kind of like your little courtship. Eventually, it's gonna turn on you, and they're gonna get that back rub, and then they're gonna go to sleep on you. You'll learn that, Clint, as you get older, right there. That's just my. But check out what Tim said. They ran from Stamp to Galt's Ferry at 7.2 miles per hour. It took a minute.
I'd say so.
So they weren't at Stamp. So all the good fishing that they were catching was outside that. So
When was your tournament, on Saturday or Sunday?
no, it was Saturday. It was 2 Saturdays. Let's see, hell, was it this past
It was
Saturday?
this past Saturday, wasn't it?
Man, this has been a hell of a week.
There was a kayak tournament.
It
out
was
there
this
too.
past Saturday. Dude, listen, I can't sleep the night before tournament. I'll tell you that. So Friday morning, I woke up at 6:30. I didn't go to bed till like midnight Saturday night. Dude, listen, Adderall and 5-hour energy drinks. I was on the boat just like,
Dude.
Just vibrating, son.
I was vibrating. So
You just get jacked up.
I do get jacked up, but I know I'm going to get my ass kicked. I don't know why I even worry about it.
You can't think like that.
Oh, no, I'm good with it.
Can't think
I'm
like
good
that.
with it.
You
So
shouldn't
like
be.
that.
You shouldn't be good with
Shouldn't
it.
be good with it.
Listen, I try to compete. I don't get to practice enough. I need to start doing that. I like putting my horny. There you
Don't
go.
stop
I
it
like
there.
putting my.
For love.
Listen, I've learned to start reading the comments. So I like putting my horny toad in the beaver hole for a love offering. Hey, you know.
Todd Burke caught one about 6 years ago in November on a horny toad out of a beaver hut.
Yeah, it was 2 Saturdays ago. So I thought so.
And she was
Yes, because this was just this past weekend. I had to do a wedding this past weekend. It was a Saturday ago. They did what now?
about 6 or 7 years ago, my buddy Todd, he's the real horny toad king.
Yeah.
He caught one in November, the last weekend in November. Water temperature was like 54
On a horny toad?
on a horny toad out of a beaver hut. She was like 8 pounds on Lanier.
Really?
Yes. And he said it flushed the damn toilet.
Got that
And
big
got it.
swirl going like that, the perfect swirl?
It crushed it.
Did
It
it?
flushed. It come up and ate it and went back down. And just, he said it was a toilet flush. when he
That's
got it.
awesome. That is
So-
awesome right there.
So that just shows to show you, though, talking about beaver holes. Yeah, they're around. They'll be there, just like we are.
It's Martin Outdoors right there, right by your cursor. Going up, right there. Ryan, have you seen shad jumping out of the water while throwing a spinnerbait? Seen a lot of this past weekend going down the bank while I was fishing.
Yeah, so it's funny because me and Kevin Underwood actually had a conversation about this last week. So like, what's kind of funny going on, what seems to be kind of, it's kind of funny going on right now is the shad are almost like, they're almost like pre-staging already.
Already?
Yes. Like, and they're
We talking about threadfin?
yeah, they are getting in areas where it's like they're not far from where you would actually visibly like, yeah, they would spawn there.
See a shad spawn.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the shad's spawning. I'm not saying that.
No,
by
but you're
means.
saying they're
But they already seem to be like pre-staging around areas, and when they get up close to the bank and stuff like that, especially on these like flats going down the bank, and you get a lot of shad up there in like 5-6 foot of water. I mean, there's something going on with it.
really.
Because a lot of times this kind of a year you will see a lot of shad on the warmer days. You'll see a lot of shad congregate together in huge schools and they will be near the surface, but the bottom doesn't really matter. Like they may be near the surface over 60 foot of water, but they're up near the surface, or they could be over there in like 5-6 foot of water. You know, it just depends upon, but they want to be closer to the surface where the warmer water is, especially on like sunny days. So yeah, so I've seen 2 places so far up north where that is actually going on.
When does shad normally spawn?
Typically when water temperature gets about mid 60s.
Okay.
Somewhere around in there, mid 60s, upper 60s.
And it won't be long, and they'll be there. Electric Elites were at Stamp Sunday, and it took 14.25 to win.
Yeah, there's Farmer May.
I'm telling you,
the only thing that's really throwing a curveball is a herring spawn now on the near. It just keeps getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
Why?
Population, maybe. I don't really know. Typically, it was always like May. You'd say the herring should be spawning. And you could go around like blow-throughs and long taper flat points, reef poles. And if you ran enough of them in the morning, you'd find herring spawn.
Right.
But I mean, we found them in like 1st of April now. And it's like 62-degree water temperature.
I filmed the last week of March, catching them on the OG on
there you go.
Spawn stuff.
See, he's got an exact thing with.
Why do you reckon that is?
I'm saying.
I mean, I just feel like it was the area of the lake. It was warming up. The temperatures were right. And there was spots, largemouth and striper, all herring spawn. We were catching them good.
Now,
that was the last week of March last year.
Yeah. Now, we didn't have an extremely cold winter, though, last year, did we? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember
we had
last
that little
week.
spell there for a hot minute.
Like in November or something like that?
No, it was like January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but this year's been a much colder.
It snowed last winter a couple times. It wasn't as cold as this year,
but this year's been a lot colder.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that will affect it. I get what you're saying. They're up because they need the warmer water.
Yeah, I don't know. I know we ain't got too terribly much long time, about 10 more minutes. But like,
you see what Tim said? Water temps have been higher in past years.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Like to me, like we had to fish that classic in January, the end of January, and that was the coldest I'd seen the water temperature get in a minute. Like we were going out there, it was like 43, 44 on the near.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't seen it. But I remember in years past when I first really started hardcore bass fishing, I remember every winter it get down to like 40.
It's been a hot minute since we've seen that.
I haven't seen 40 in a long time.
So he says on Atlanta Outdoors says on Sinclair it starts around March, April, which
and
that's
that
a little
probably
farther.
coincides with the water temperatures probably being about low 60s, mid 60s by then.
Down there. And then Tim says things are behind this year.
It seems like, are they behind? I feel like it's kind of behind, but it could just accelerate real quick.
Like when it happens.
And I really,
because I mean, we got a full moon, a super warm week this week. Like,
is it the full moon this week?
Yeah.
Is it?
I really hope it don't.
Why?
But I believe it will. Huh?
Why?
I just if everything accelerates super fast,
it splits up the fish too much.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Was it splits the fish? You have basically two classes of fish if it warms up too fast. You got the fish that are basically in oh shit mode. They gotta go spawn, and then you got other fish that have already tried to spawn, whether it was successful or not. And they're like, oh, now let's go back out of the main lake. Let's start looking for herring and stuff.
Could that,
start doing our
if
thing
it happens,
we normally do.
If it happens too fast, or like all of a sudden, like Clint said, can that keep some of those fish from actually spawning? Kind of like you were talking earlier about fish eating so much that you didn't think they'd spawn. Just out of curiosity, I mean,
I physically seen a largemouth on Lake Lanier on the bed, 2 of them on the bed, like 55. Now, like I said, whether that was successful or not, I don't know. But
no.
I mean, but I've like, there's a bed.
You think?
And the buck run right over to it and go boop and pick it up, and it's like, well, he ain't just sitting there for no reason.
Did you let him take his love offering out to the big girl?
No, because
he
she
will
was
next
up
time,
there and she wouldn't move. Which means that when she was up there and she wouldn't move, there's a period for every fish is a little bit different. But there's a period for about 6 to 14 hours roughly, or after she actually lays her eggs, where she'll just like sit there.
Right.
And she won't really move. She won't react to much.
Yeah.
But then after she And that's like in the bed fishing tournaments. That's what the guys like go look for. Like they go find, like if they go like tournaments on Saturday, like on Thursday or Friday, like they go, oh, there's one right there. She will not look at anything I throw up there. I go catch her Saturday. And then sure enough, they'll go to her Saturday and it won't take very long to catch her.
Because she's had that time.
Yes.
She's had the time. Now, Tim says everything is dirty and dirty warms up faster, but it's still 50.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird this year. Like even Latham across the street, that lake's normally clear. It's been stained all year.
I had a funny feeling in February during that East Hall Classic when I found like 57 and a half. And I was just like, oh man, like we're not even like 2 weeks removed from the water temperature being in the mid 40s.
Yeah.
And up here where I was, it's already got like that's hot, you know,
yeah.
Like that's got hot quick, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I still have a lot to do with the moon phases for me, and the length of days has a lot to do with it. But I really do believe, and you can crucify me if you want to, that's fine.
Nobody's crucifying nobody.
No, I'm just saying you can crucify me if you want to. I do really and truly believe that there are fish who try to spawn, and whether it's successful or not, when they do it, and it's over for them. Whether it was successful or not.
No,
I think they try to. I think they'll try to do it, and then they might offer not. You know,
it can be. Far Dog, I saw you comment earlier, and sorry we got going on a conversation. Hit me up and see if I got Farmer coming on this Thursday, but see if your boys might be able to pipe in Thursday, and we'll give them. They won the JUCO College Championship last year in their fishing, so see if we can give them a little love too. Cranking and yanking, but don't you have early spawners and late spawners every year? Yes. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, that's totally.
It's like in Georgia, it's like the spawn time is really like March through like June, because I've seen fish. Well, me and you saw fish.
We saw them late that one time.
We saw them, and that was the end of June when me and you saw them down there.
Yeah, I remember you going like, "Good Lord, what was it?" It was like
the water temperature was like 77.
Yeah,
and it was like, dude, like them on the bed.
They were
like, what are they doing up there?
Wyatt says they have a second rut in May, just like deer do.
Yeah, second.
They rut.
Second rut.
Hey, if it didn't get bred the first time, we'll get it the second time. Now, Rob and Warren, I'll get to yours right after Rob's comment. But Rob says, throw a big glide bait, damn it, around them bed fish. They will chew. He says, I guarantee they'll chew right there. So I believe you, Rob. I believe you. But Warren's got one right there. He has a hard time figuring out the gizzard shad spawn. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah.
You have a hard time on that, too?
We get a good one on the near every year.
Where's that normally happen?
You can go back and look. You can go back and you can look at, and every year in like late May, 1st of June, I catch a bag on a buzz bait. And they're eating gizzard shad. They're up there. Go up there to the dock, way up the river, and they'll be going round and around and around underneath the corner of the dock, the gizzard shad. They're bigger than your hand.
Yeah, they've got big gizzard shad.
They're big.
Yeah.
And you go throw a buzz bait or something down beside that dock, like a big buzz bait, and they have a largemouth and stuff, they'll crush them. Because there's really, like when I'm finding the gizzard shad like that, there's really only one thing really that can eat them successfully and not choke to death.
Yeah,
that's largemouth.
Big largemouth.
Or like 5-6 pound spot. But you're not going to really find that you're not really going to find one of those like way up Chestatee or way up the Chattahoochee arm. Like a big spot like that, like you would, like what Clint fishes for all the time. Like those big spots on the south end of the lake.
Yeah.
But they're from one end to the other because I fish so oh my God, tongue twister. I fish so shallow for the majority of the year. I have found there's gizzard shad from one end of the lake to the other on Lanier. And I also know for a fact that there's gizzard shad from one end of the lake to the other on Altoona because I've physically seen them.
Yeah.
And they'll be back there in like 2 foot of water in August. And then you're like, oh my God, there's big old gizzard shad back here, like a foot long.
Rocky's got
it
too.
And then come lumbering down the bank. Oh my God, it's like a 9-pound largemouth with like a 7-pound largemouth right behind it.
You think
they're just slowly chasing them gizzard shads around?
Makes sense.
So.
We're getting late. Let me get this last question in for Brad Silvers. Any easier ways to locate deep spawning spots or largemouth? Keep in mind, I'm a Carter's guy. Now, I believe on Carter's, I did hear Farmer, and you might can hit him separate, say there's some islands or something like that, Farmer or something like that, where it kind of tables. stare is kind of off. You can just start and kind of hitting those with shaky heads to find the spots.
Yeah, like my favorite thing to do when they get to, like, for the deeper spawning fish is actually throw a Carolina rig.
Joey Cifuentes in that TAA was throwing.
That's
throwing
what he
a
did. Yeah, he
Carolina
did.
rig and catching those spawning
Like,
spots.
because you can throw a Carolina rig for like those, like some of these fish, like the deep water fish that they live deep like their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they spawn 15, 17 foot of water.
Right.
You know, I mean, they'll spawn that deep, and that's deep to some people, and it is deep to a lot of people. Most people think spawning fish, they immediately go, "Oh, it's like we're looking in like 2-3 foot of water for a bed,"
But not with spots.
but not with spots and some largemouth. You know, not everybody needs to know everything. So,
yeah, well, you know, hey, this is our job here is to try to
But,
squeeze juice.
I mean, a Carolina rig, like a 3/8 ounce Carolina rig, that's
as
pretty
good as anything. Ryan, will gizzards school up under docks like crappie up the Chestatee?
Yes, I've physically seen it with my own 2 eyes. No live scope involved. I've physically seen them underneath docks. I've physically seen huge schools of gizzard shads up Chestatee, underneath docks, and the backs of pockets running around like on Chickamauga. Yeah, I've physically seen it with my own 2 eyes.
I got you. Ryan,
So-
you're a wealth of information. Thanks for your input tonight.
Well,
You're a wealth of
I
information.
mean, I don't have no filter, so
No, you don't
Yeah.
like that. So, all right, guys, 2 hours in, we're gonna call it a night like that. He's got to get up and go to work. We all got to get up and go to work the next tomorrow morning or whatever. Hell, I'm tired too. So, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Ryan, thank you for coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us like that. Now, Farmer's coming on Thursday night, so.
What y'all
Farmer,
gonna
if you're
talk
still
about?
watching, hell, I don't know. We might talk more spinnerbaits and all that. Who the hell knows? We'll just talk fishing. So we'll do that. But Far Dog, if you email me again about getting your son and his partner on too. So, Alex, thank you. I know tonight was a tough one because there was a lot of questions and comments. You did a good job. And Clint, of course, as always, thank you very much. You bring
Thank
the
you.
looks to the show.
Shit.
Like that. So, guys, we appreciate you. Ryan, do you have an Instagram?
no, I have Facebook. But if you got a question or anytime you ever want to
Just-
ask me a question, just shoot me a messenger on Facebook.
Yeah, do that. He'll answer
You know,
like
I'll
that.
answer it. You know, any question at all. My motto is always the only stupid question is
The
a
one
question that's not asked. So
there you go, like
you know,
that. So,
don't ever think you're dumb about not asking something.
trust me, I've asked him plenty of
He's hanging out with Danny. You'll be
plenty of
fine.
questions there. Yeah, he hung around me for a couple years. So, anyway, guys, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We will see you Thursday night. We'll talk about the fishing coming up this weekend. So, you guys be good. We'll catch you on the next one.